To start, I'd like to ask you some questions about your hometown. Where is your hometown located?
My hometown is situated in the southern region of the country, specifically in a vibrant coastal hub called Brighton. It's right on the edge of the English Channel, which makes it a very popular tourist destination.
What do you like most about living in that area?
I'd say it's the unique blend of coastal scenery and urban energy. I love being able to enjoy a bustling city atmosphere 1 minute and then retreat to the peaceful beach just a few minutes later. Truly fantastic.
Now, let's talk about your daily routine. What is the busiest part of your day?
I'd say my mornings are undoubtedly the most frantic. From the moment I wake up, I'm constantly juggling a variety of tasks, such as preparing for work and catching up on emails. It's a bit of a whirlwind before I finally settle into a rhythm.
Do you prefer to spend your free time alone or with other people?
To be honest, it really depends on my mood. After a busy day, I often crave solitude to decompress, but I also deeply value the social connection of spending time with friends.
What kind of food do you enjoy eating most often?
Actually, I'd say I lean towards home-cooked meals most often because they're incredibly nourishing. There's just something so comforting about a hearty stew or a fresh salad made from scratch.
Describe a crime you know about that happened in your local area. You should say what kind of crime it was, when you heard about it, how it affected the local community, and explain what your feelings were about the incident.
I'd like to talk about a series of sophisticated burglaries that took place in my local neighborhood, which is generally a very peaceful residential area. It happened about 6 months ago, and what made it particularly distressing was how targeted the crimes seemed to be. It wasn't just random smash and grab incidents. The perpetrators appeared to be quite methodical, targeting homes specifically when the residents were away on extended holidays. I first became aware of the situation through a community WhatsApp group where neighbors were sharing updates and photos of the damaged properties. It quickly escalated into a major topic of conversation, eventually making its way into the local news as well. The impact on our community was quite profound. It essentially shattered the sense of security that we usually take for granted in this part of the city. Suddenly, there was a palpable sense of anxiety. You'd see people installing high-tech alarm systems and smart surveillance cameras on every street corner. However, it also fostered a sense of solidarity. People started looking out for one another more, and there were frequent check-ins between neighbors who hadn't spoken in years. Personally, I felt incredibly unsettled by the whole thing. It's one thing to hear about crime in a general sense, but it's entirely different when it happens on your own doorstep. It left me feeling quite vulnerable and highlighted how quickly a peaceful environment can be disrupted. It was a sobering reminder of the importance of vigilance.
Do you think that crime has increased in your city recently?
That's a complex issue to tackle, but I'd say it's a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, there's a growing sense of unease in some of the more urbanized areas where you see a lot more opportunistic crimes like bike theft or phone snatching. However, it's also possible that crime isn't necessarily increasing as much as we perceive it to be. It's just that we're much more aware of it now. With the prevalence of social media, even minor incidents can go viral instantly, creating a bit of a skewed perception of safety. So, while there might be a slight uptick in certain types of petty crime, I think the real change is in our awareness and the way we report and consume news about it.
In your opinion, what are the most common reasons why people commit crimes in modern society?
That's a complex issue, but I'd argue that socioeconomic disparities are perhaps the primary driver. When there's a stark contrast between wealth and poverty, it can create a sense of desperation or even resentment. For many, crime becomes a shortcut to financial stability when legitimate opportunities are scarce. Additionally, systemic issues like a lack of quality education or limited job prospects often act as catalysts for criminal activity in marginalized communities.
Should the focus of the justice system be on punishing criminals or on rehabilitating them?
That's a complex debate. While punishment is necessary to maintain social order and act as a clear deterrent, I believe the ultimate goal of any justice system should be rehabilitation. If we only focus on punitive measures, we risk creating a revolving door of crime where individuals are released without any means to change. A more holistic approach, focusing on education and training, addresses the root causes of criminal behavior, which ultimately leads to lower recidivism rates and a safer society for everyone.
How does the media's reporting on crime affect the way people perceive safety in their neighborhoods?
I believe the media plays a significant role in shaping public perception, often by sensationalizing certain incidents to drive viewership. Because news outlets tend to highlight the most dramatic or violent crimes, it can create a disproportionate sense of fear in the community. Consequently, people might perceive their neighborhoods as much more dangerous than the actual crime statistics would suggest. This constant barrage of alarming news can lead to a heightened state of apprehension, even in areas where the risk is actually quite minimal, essentially creating a skewed reality of public safety.
To what extent do you think community-led initiatives can help reduce crime rates?
I believe they can be remarkably effective, particularly in fostering a sense of social cohesion. When residents are actively engaged, it creates a proactive environment where having eyes on the street acts as a natural deterrent against opportunistic crime. That said, while these grassroots efforts are crucial for community spirit, they might struggle to address more sophisticated organized crime without the consistent and necessary backing of formal law enforcement and resources.
Do you think some types of crimes are harder to prevent than others?
I'd say absolutely. While opportunistic crimes like petty theft can be mitigated through enhanced surveillance or community vigilance, sophisticated offenses like cybercrime or large-scale human trafficking are significantly more complex. These types of crimes often exploit technological loopholes or operate across international borders, which makes them incredibly elusive for local authorities. They require a much more coordinated, high-level response than typical street-level crime.